Now we'll write the code to connect to our database. So make sure first that your database server is running and that Tomcat is running inside of Eclipse and that you've installed the appropriate MySQL driver. So I'm in data.jsp. I'm going to double click the tab so that I can get a full view of just my code. You can always double click it again to go back to the standard view. First thing we're going to do is write some import statements. So open bracket, a %, and then an @ symbol. And we'll close that out with a % and a greater than sign. And inside of this tag, I'm going to type page space import and an equal sign. And in quotes, I'm going to type in the classes that I want to import. So java.sql.*. And then I'm going to copy and paste this code right after itself to eliminate white space. So I'll paste that using the keyboard shortcut Command or Control C to copy and Command or Control V to paste. And I'm going to change the import code from java.sql.* to java.io.*. Then we'll repeat the process and paste the code again and change the import to com.mysql.*. And then finally, after that, still on the same line, I'm going to write a declaration that this is an XML document. So open bracket, $XML space, version, equal sign, and in quotes, the version is going to be 1.0, and then we'll close it out with greater than sign. So what we've done so far is just declare the classes that we want to import and use in Java. And then outside of our Java code, we have declared that this is an XML file. So let's go to the next line, and we're going to create the tours tag. So open bracket, tours, and then close bracket. And on the next line, we'll close that out with the /tours tag. So we have an open and closing tag called tours. And on the next line, inside of our tours tag, I'm going to write some Java code. So I'll need to type a > sign and a %. And Eclipse will auto create the closing tag for me. And in here, I'm going to initialize some variables that we'll be using. So connection is the data type, and we'll call this connection lowercase. We'll just initialize it to null. We'll do the same thing for a statement. So statement is the class, statement lowercase is the name of the variable, set it equal to null, and the same thing for result set. Capital R and capital S for the class name, and then result for the name, and it, again, we'll initialize to null here. Now let's go down a few lines, and we need to connect to the database in a try-catch block. So try, and then some brackets, and below the brackets, catch. The error is going to be of type SQL exception. We'll name it E. I'll put the brackets there, and we'll just type out.println, and in the parentheses pass in the string error connecting to database. Now return to the try block. In there, we're going to create a new instance of the driver class by typing class with capital C .for name, and the name will pass in as a string, so quotes, and then pass in com.mysql.jdbc.driver with capital D, and then after the close parenthesis, type dot, and then new instance. On the next line, we'll set the value of our connection. So connection, all lowercase, we'll set that equal to driver manager, capital D, capital M, dot get connection. And then we pass in 3 parameters that are all strings. First, the database URL, then the username for the database, and the password for the database. So in quotes, URL is going to be jdbc : mysql : 2 / localhost : 3306. Remember, that's the port for your MySQL server. And if you change it to something else in your settings, make sure you put that number here. And then a / tours. That's the name of our database. After that string, type a comma. The next string is the username of our database. I kept mine at the default, which is root. And finally, the third parameter is also a string. That's the password for the database. And I kept mine at the default as well, which is root. Make sure to add the semicolon after the end of the statement. And then here I'm just going to type out.println, and in parentheses I'll pass in the string connected to database. So this is going to happen if there's no problem. So when we test this, we should see either connected to database or error connecting to database. So let's save the file and then test this using Tomcat. I'm going to click OK to restart the server. And then in Eclipse's built-in browser, I should see a message that says connected to database. So I've successfully connected to the database. If you have any problems with this, make sure that you're running both your MySQL server and Tomcat, and then check to see that the jar file is in the correct location so that you can load in the drivers. Finally, of course, make sure to check all of your code against mine, including the port number for your MySQL server.